What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into the world of Scandinavian design, as known as Scandi. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Mia and I am half Danish, half Japanese interior designer myself. So this style Scandi is so close to my heart since I was little, and I am super excited to share this with you today. I feel like Scandi design is super easy to achieve and also very accessible, but a lot of people also overlooks the very important steps. So in this video, we're gonna start off by learning some core principles of Scandi design, some of my tips to bring the look into your home, things you should do and shouldn't do, and some of my favorite places and websites that you can find some Scandi furniture, lighting, and accessories. Let's get into it. So Scandinavian interior design emerged in the 20th century and it became one of the most popular interior design styles across the world. It is design style that focuses on simplicity, functionality, and coziness, and it's very approachable design that became very easy to be loved by many people. Scandi design originates from Scandinavian countries that includes like Denmark, my country, Sweden, Norway, and Finland. And these countries, winter is very long and it can be very dark, and amount of time that you get light is very limited during these days. So that's why Scandi design is all about making interior feel as bright, airy, and welcoming as possible, while layering warmth and sense of comfort to create a space that feels like home. So my first tip to achieve this Scandi look is the base. The base of the room is quite fundamental to Scandi design, and Scandi interior always starts with the calm, neutral base walls, and usually painted in soft white, beige, or like light gray to keep spaces feel open and airy. As we spoke earlier, the winters are so long in these Scandinavian countries and the daylight is very limited. So light backdrop helps to reflect every bit of the natural lights in the room. And this means we don't want to paint the walls bold or dark, like colored or patterned wallpapers, because these are going to make your room feel a little bit closed off, dark and heavy. But instead, you could choose the room with like warm whites, light grays, and like pale beige to create an open and airy foundation. My tip number 2 is the floor. Light wood flooring is a signature element in Scandinavian homes. You just see every picture that has like light Scandi like wooden floors. Every home you visit in Scandinavian country has like solid, real wood floors. They typically use like pale, bright timber color because this bounces back the natural lights within the room and makes the room feel a little bit more brighter. This means that we don't want to use dark flooring or heavy carpet or like patterned tiles, because this is going to make the room a little bit more shrinked and like small. And also this is used in other styles, so we want to avoid that. But instead, we want to go with the pale timber or like whitewashed wood to create that spacious Scandi look. Solid wood floors are also durable, long-lasting, and improve with age, which is also related to my third point, having the mindset of investing in pieces that last. Scandinavian design values functionality, durability, and timelessness, and celebrates quality over quantity. Furniture is chosen for its craftsmanship, durability, timelessness, style, so that it can be loved for years. I feel like this is also tied to like environmental awarenesses, being sustainable, that is so deep rooted to like Scandi culture, and people are more conscious, I feel like, of like reducing waste and overconsumption as a whole country. This means we don't want to fill your space with like cheap, often made with plastics or like trendy items that wear out quickly. But instead, we want to invest in like fewer, well-made pieces that will last and age beautifully. Or you can also get something that is modular storage, because this means you can do like a multifunctional furniture and you can change according to your needs whenever you change your homes or like spaces in the future. My tip number 4 is to use natural materials. Scandi interiors are deeply connected to nature, which is a big part of everyday life in Scandi countries. Materials like wood, natural texture like linen, cotton, wool, and sheepskin, and also like plant-based fibers like rattan, cane, bamboo jute, Stones and clay and leather are like natural materials for interior design, and they can bring like natural warmth to interiors. The dining tables and chairs are often made of wood or like the paper cord, which is super popular in Danish craftsmanship. They're often like paired together, and they don't really rely on like synthetic, so like plastic looking materials that can feel cold and flat. Easy way to add natural materials to your space is, for example, you could add like a wood accent by bringing in wooden trays, stools, side tables, or like picture frames. Even like small touches of like light wood makes a big impact to your space. You could use like a woven textures, like add rattan baskets or like jute rugs. This can also bring some natural textures to like storage and stuff like that. You could also choose ceramics over plastics, so like swapping out plastic decor items for like handmade ceramics, or like even vases or like mugs to add organic feel to your accessories. This also blends in nicely with my tip number 5, to use neutral colors and earthy color scheme. The color palette in Scandinavian homes are inspired by nature. Soft clays, warm grays, muted greens, and sandy neutrals. They all feel like calm and soothing, and they blend beautifully with natural lights. This means we don't want to bring any neon colors or like overly saturated colors that clash with the serene mood. But instead, we want to stick to like the muted earthy tones as your base. And if you want a color, use it as small accents like cushions, art, or like ceramics, which is also a type of Scandi look. It should never be used on like a big items like sofa, rugs, or like on a wallpaper on the kitchen. Big items is a no-no. And by making the color to the minimum, this makes the overall look calm and cohesive. My tip number 6 is to avoid patterns. I think we already know that Scandi is all about minimalistic and clean texture, so we want to keep the patterns to a minimum to maintain the sense of calm. It is not completely banned to use patterns, but rather than a busy print like animals, jungles, characters, or like heavy fonts, we want to like select patterns that can be clean and like simple. For example, you could choose like tone-to-tone stripes or like subtle geometrics. This means we definitely don't want to use it on wallpaper with like heavy patterns, but if we're adding patterns, maybe like a few cushion or like small vases that doesn't become like an attention of the room. My tip number 7 is minimalism, less clutter, and bigger the better. Minimalism is the heart of Scandinavian living, and Scandi homes feels calm and open because they use fewer but larger pieces rather than lots of small, like scattered items. This keeps the space visually clean and airy. To make your room feel minimalistic, you could declutter surfaces, so like clear off any side tables, shelves, or like countertops, and only display like 1 or 2 items. Don't overload with a lot of decorations. You could also group them together, so like rather than spreading out different artworks, you could use like one tray and put them all together. This makes it look like it's more like a curated one piece rather than scattered around. We could also choose larger items over like small pieces, so for example like artworks or like plants. Rather than having 5 different smaller plants or like artworks on the wall, we could select just one big iconic plant or like one iconic statement piece of artwork on the wall. This makes the room a lot more spacious and minimalistic look. Using the cabinets to like hide cables or like anything you need for like TV is such a great idea to just make everything look clean. We could also use like woven basket with lids on, or like you could cover with the like a blanket over basket so it looks more styled rather than open and you can see everything tucked in a basket. And my last tip is to maximize the natural lights as much as possible and use the warm lights. We already spoke that in Scandi countries, the winters are very long and it can be very dark a lot of the time. So bringing in the natural light is absolutely crucial to achieving the Scandi look. This means we don't want to put like a heavy curtain by the window, but instead a lot more like sheer airy curtain to allow the natural light coming into your space as much as possible. We also want to use multiple light sources throughout the space instead of relying on like a strong overhead ceiling light. We want to use use soft table lamps, wall lights, and like floor lamps to create like a pockets of warm lights. And we want to position this in a different level of height in the room. And this will make your space feel more cozy and warm and inviting. So before we finish with the video, I wanted to share with you some of my favorite places you could find some Scandi items. These are some of the brands that I absolutely love, and they're all from Denmark and Sweden. The classic look would be Carl Hansen, Fritz Hansen. They can be quite expensive, but for similar look, I can recommend Odo Copenhagen and Tradition, which can be more affordable and has some bit of modern touch. If you're looking for more contemporary pieces, I love Hey and Muto. They have more colors to their design and definitely more fun. And some of the website is Nordic Nest and Scandium are my go-to for just browsing to find like more day-to-day pieces like decoration, kitchen items, and art pieces. So definitely check them out. That was all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.